County Board of Commissioners, August 26, 2025 meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. The invocation person is not here. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. So please stand for the invocation given by Pastor Brian Martin from Alberton Baptist, followed by the pledge to the flag.
All right, let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we come before you tonight, and Lord, we come to pray for our county commissioners and those in authority who represent Meriwether County, our state, and our country. Lord, we come tonight to challenge them to seek you and to seek your favor, and to encourage them to not take lightly the decisions that will be made here tonight, but that they will take these matters and apply seriousness to the decisions that are made, whether small or great, because any decision that we make has eternal results. And you tell us to acknowledge you, and I'm glad that the commissioners tonight have invited different pastors to open their meetings as a prayer of acknowledging you. You tell us that if we lack wisdom, that we are to ask of you. Sometimes we make decisions based on the things that seem right to us, based on our wisdom. But Lord, I pray that you would give them your wisdom, godly wisdom, and spiritual wisdom, which you tell us is better than gold, and that your understanding of matters is to be chosen over silver. So I pray tonight that you will give this group of commissioners wisdom to make good and right decisions, because we know that the decisions that we make here and right now in the present will someday be judged in the future by you, our Lord Jesus Christ. Lord, I pray tonight that you would bless our commissioner meeting and with good decisions, with eternal values. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray and ask. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. First item is to adopt the agenda. Do we have any additions or subtractions?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We need to add under new business number 10, consideration of purchasing vehicles for the sheriff's office. That's number 10, consideration of purchasing vehicles for the sheriff's office.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
A motion from the board to adopt. Second. All in favor? Right, do we have any presentations?
No, sir.
Finance report.
Commissioners, on the front page of the report are the current bank balances as of today. Also listed are the interest amounts earned in July for the LGIP accounts, as well as the year-to-date amounts we have received. We expect to receive the lost, SPLOST, and T-SPLOST distributions by the end of this week. On the second page, our SPLOST balance is $1.2 million. The T-SPLOST balance is $484,000. All of the LRA projects have been completed except for the LMIC projects, which the balance left in that account is $517,000.
Any questions about the finance report?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add, I did reach out to the auditors about the question Vice Chairman Collins had about the landfill. They are looking into that account to see if there's any money that we can pull out of that into the general fund. But all interest earned by Gatsby, I forget which one it is, has to be accounted for into the landfill. So he's looking into what the dollar amount M&J, Malden Jenkins has that we need to have in reserve for it. So I'm hoping to have an answer back this week.
So we're still looking to get what the balance has to be maintained in there.
Correct.
And they stated that if we use that account to earn interest, that interest has to remain in that account also.
Correct. He came back originally like 175,000, but I asked him what's the Malden Jenkins figure that is comfortable for us to have in that account.
So we still can withdraw the base amount.
Yes.
To get it to.
Hopefully it's about 400,000 or 500,000 we can pull out of that account back into the general fund. But as soon as he contacts me and lets me know, I'll update the board.
Okay. Do we have any department head reports?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay. Any citizen comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Minutes approval. So minutes from the August 4th, 2025. regular meeting at 6 P.M. Are any
think-
changes?
I think you found a change.
Yeah, on page 14, the fish survey at Lake Meriwether would be done by Southeastern Pond Management instead of Lake Work.
I'll make that correction.
So if there's no other changes to those minutes, we have a motion to adopt those minutes.
Second.
All in favor? The minutes from the August 11th, 2025 work session at 4:30 P.M. Any amendments need to be made to those?
I don't think so.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We have any public hearings?
No, sir.
No appointments? Unfinished business. Item 1 is discussion and direction on allocation of general projects fund. Item A under 1 is interest from the LGIP.
Commissioners, this item was tabled from the August 4th, 2025 meeting regarding interest earned in the LGIP, which is a local government investment pool. The year-to-date earnings from taxpayer invested funds are as follows. In the general fund, a little over $376,000. And the special projects fund, a little over $134,000 for a combined total of $511,000 and some change. With 2 months left in the fiscal year, we conservatively estimate $75,000 in additional earnings and interest, bringing that total to $586,000. Staff's recommendation with the interest from LGIP is to authorize the use of LGIP interest earnings to date in fiscal year 2025 to be allocated to pay for the 54 Harris XL 200 portable radios, which is the next agenda item. And behind that, you have all the investment income that shows you the interest that we're earning. And the general fund is roughly 30 to 40,000, and the project fund is maintained around 13,000 a month.
So basically, to rule on this, we're basically ruling on the next item. I think the next item is
Well-
first discussion.
We can change authorizing to a possible funding source for the next item. And then we don't have to make a motion on that with it, Michael, if we did.
So I think maybe we could make a motion, I think.
Because 1 and 2 kind of plays together with each other.
Yeah, so I think the board agrees that we should use the interest money that is generated, be allowed to assign it to projects or instances that come up. So I think we can make a motion, Michael.
That's what I was gonna recommend, was, because this is extra budget money, correct?
Right, yes.
So what I think your motion is on this item would be to expend those funds that we would have extra budget for some kind of county purpose.
Mhm.
Right.
And then we'll determine what they go to and assign it and, yeah. Okay.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with Commissioner Thresgill's comment last meeting was to not allocate all of it, but maybe 40%,
Yeah,
50%.
then we can determine what we
Correct.
want with each project, so, yeah. So I'll make a motion to allow the board to use the additional income from interest money received from investments to be applied to projects and future projects for the county.
In fiscal year
In
what fiscal year, man?
Fiscal year
2025, 26?
24 with 25.
24, 25?
Yes,
Yes,
right now we
24,
are.
25.
So we'll do this again in a couple months if we don't need it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so fiscal year 24, 25.
Because you may have it budgeted after that, correct? I mean,
It's a budget item now. It's just, we do have excess funds that are over the budget amount.
but, yeah, okay, sorry.
Two second.
So that's good for you?
Yeah.
That's a motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right. Item B is discussion and direction on the allocation of the general projects fund.
Commissioners, staff requests that this item be removed for consideration at this time and revisited after the countywide building assessment has been completed. At that point, potential funding sources can be identified and potentially help cover the cost of the new HVAC system at the courthouse.
I would agree with that, so do we need to table this, or?
I just remove it from
Does
consideration.
the rest of the board want to discuss it now? I'm not trying to vote for you on that.
So you just remove it and bring it back at a later date, you don't have a designated time, is that what you're saying?
Correct, or we can table it to November 10th meeting. That gives time for the CM for the courthouse, all that start coming in.
What do you guys think?
That's fine, ma'am.
So I'll make a motion to table the allocation of general projects fund to the November 10th regular meeting.
I second.
All in favor? Okay. Item 2 is a consideration of the purchase of P25 compliant radios from Dean's Commercial Two-Way, 34 units for the sheriff's office, and 20 units for fire and rescue.
Commissioners, this item was tabled from the August 4th meeting. Staff contacted Loudon Communications, the only other Harris deal that we could find in the state, to obtain a quote for the same Harris XL 200P portable radios. Their quote totaled $411,287.22 and included LTE service through FirstNet and Verizon. Since Verizon provides limited reception in Meriwether County, FirstNet with Beyond option would function the same as the LTE service previously demonstrated by Dean's two-way commercial, or two-way. And just to clarify, you do have a quote in there from Harris, which I think they're acquiring Dean two-way communications. So that's why it's not Dean's. Williams is a quote, they're acquiring Dean's Communications. So that's why you see the quote from Williams and
Wow.
Loudon.
So refresh my memory on why, so you say you can only get 2 quotes for Harris radios. Why is there a distinction where you're only looking for quotes for Harris?
We reached out to Motorola, we could not get a response from Motorola. And from communications, just having with other areas, the Motorola's are
$14,000 apiece.
$10,000 to $12,000 a piece.
But I have to ask the question though, with the problem the sheriff's department and the fire rescue have now, we've been doing, for lack of a better term, cheaper radios. And now we're gonna buy a cheaper version again than Motorola. Or does any of that have to play with why we keep having to buy radios that need to be upgraded and the sheriff's department and the fire and rescue can't communicate?
These are upgraded radios.
These
Yeah,
are,
but that's still a cheaper version of what Motorola is, so.
these,
Anybody want to speak on that?
I'm not familiar with the
I'm not either.
terminology on the radios.
Answer that question.
I'm Dean Ginn from Dean's Commercial Two-Way, and like I said, we quoted this based on the Williams Communications. As he has told you, Williams is purchasing our company. As for the cost comparison, the LTE radios that Harris has, they're the highest tier. They're equal with what Motorola's got. We go head for head on feature sets. Compatibility, obviously it's just two different manufacturers. Their price point is much higher. It's not a less quality product by any stretch of the imagination. We actually have extra feature sets in that they did not have.
What kind of warranty or guarantee will we have that we're not gonna have a problem with these radios? That they're gonna work, they're gonna be sufficient, and it's gonna, the sheriff's department, the 911, all of them, they're all gonna be tickled to death to have these radios.
We brought the product in advance, give it to you guys and let you run it for 30 plus days or more, and came back to the table and asked you guys, did it meet your expectations? Did it cover what you need? During that process, we showed the compatibility. First of all, it gives you the FirstNet LTE coverage that the county has. LTE with FirstNet has been built out, and they're pretty strong in your county. So that allows you to use that network, but it also, this radio is compatible with your current VHF equipment. As part of the upgrades you're doing for your base system, this goes hand in hand. It works. It just gives you a ability to use the LTE right now to get the problem solved with coverage areas that you have in the county with your conventional system. The upgrades we're doing at Forest Road and we'll be doing at the PSC location here in Greenville, as well as Warm Springs, will enhance your conventional system but you have a system that will get you up and going today. And like I said, we're a firm believer in showing you the product, let you test it in advance. And there again, the Sheriff's Department could answer any questions you've got based on that. But it, in my opinion, met every expectation that was needed. We interfaced it with your current radio system, so it showed you how it worked. So there's no guesswork into it.
That's where I get confused with all this, which I'm nowhere near even qualified to discuss it really. But you just said this would get us up to standing right away.
It'll get you coverage in areas you don't have it, is what I'm trying to tell you, with the LTE backbone, which is FirstNet, it's built out in the county.
Okay.
So the radio has multi-processes here. Just so I explain it properly to you, you've got an LTE facet, which uses the cellular network, in this case, FirstNet. It has the VHF into it, which is what you're currently using, and it also has 800 megahertz built into it. So it's future-proofing where you're going to be with the product. So you're not buying something that's going to get outdated. It's bringing you up to the state-of-the-art equipment that's public safety grade, P25 capable. It qualifies you for grants. Should you be able to get any grants issued in the area, you certainly can participate in requesting a grant now with this product moving forward down the road as you try to continue to add to your fleet.
So why do we need to upgrade all the towers and things if this is going to do that for us? So why do we need those other projects?
Well, you always need a backbone system that you own. And the first thing I'll tell you from a disaster response aspect is the cellular carriers are great. They work. FirstNet is taking it a step above because they're backed by the United States for public safety. So they've put a lot more redundancy into their cell site towers and so forth. So that's the reason we point you towards FirstNet. But you also want to have your backbone that belongs to you, and you control the operation of that VHF radio system, day-to-day operations, should that element go away. So this is giving you a safeguard, for lack of better words. It immediately, as I told you, brings your radios up to getting coverage in areas that you currently do not have with fire and SO and EMS. We link it back to your current system, but now the guys in the field, such as your volunteer firemen, they can still use the conventional radios. The firemen that are on LTE are talking in places with LTE where they need it, but then they'll use your system in places that we've currently got it. So it gives you some redundancy into it. It's getting you to the leading technology, and it's future-proofing where you're at.
And you saying that technology in a way, everything changes and comes up with new technology and so forth. I guess instead of me asking, what is the warranty or the guarantee on? I want to make sure we're not going to spend $400,000 or whatever it is, and then 2 years from now, the sheriff's department, everybody's come back in and go, well, you know, since they changed this and they did this and they did that, that's why I'm saying, how long should we be able to get life expectancy of good service throughout the county with these radios at that expense?
I think you're making an investment into the next 20-year span right here. This product is not going to be going away anytime soon. It's the national standard for public safety in the P25 platform, and LTE is here to stay because the new technology is being integrated in all facets of the public safety. So I think
that makes more sense, and that's probably the way I should have asked it. Instead of just a warranty, I just don't want 2 years from now, we might even be sitting here no more than someone else, but all of a sudden here, there goes the county again, having to buy radios, and we just can't keep doing it.
You're basically investing into the newest technology that is, in my opinion, is a 20-plus year platform that you're going into. It's not going away anytime soon.
So do our current radios have LTE?
No, your current radios do not. They're conventional only, but that's the beauty of where the LTE, we can put gateways in and connect them via the LTE. And just to let you know what that's actually doing, the radios now with LTE that you would be buying, just say you get into a chase and with your current radio system, if you run out of coverage in the geographical area of the four corners of the county, with the LTE radios, the radios will continue to roam onto the next network. You go into Coweta County chasing somebody, you're now, where you go, if there's FirstNet service, you're going to continue to have coverage as you go, whether you're here, Atlanta, wherever. So that's giving you some safety features right there with the public safety side. It also gives you that jurisdictional issue that you currently do not have with the 800 megahertz built into the system. Now you can reach out to Noonan, Coweta County. They will give you IDs in their system. So if you're doing joint interactions with the Sheriff's Department, which they do from time to time, or you're responding to a disaster in their territory, you'll be able to switch over and communicate with them on the fly. We can tie that into your 911. So this is really future-proofing your product to be interoperable. Harris County's in the process of upgrading to a 12-site P25 system. They're aware that you guys are looking at this product. They will issue IDs to cooperate on that system in an interoperable operation. So it's getting you where you need to be.
So if we put these radios in service and get the work done on the towers, they shouldn't be anywhere, any dead spots within the county, is that correct?
I'm never going to say never on dead spots, but you're going to be very close to getting where you need to be. I think, Justin, if you want to speak to that, I think the problematic areas that I'm aware of is in the code, the low-lying area and stuff. How do they work over
So
there?
there's always going to be issues in the code until there's some additional stuff built in the code, which I don't think any of us are going to expect a cell phone company to go build a cell phone tower in code anytime soon because it's not economical for them. Using one of these, we were able to go in the cove. You could get some LTE some places, but one thing we can do with those we can't do with other ones. You flip a switch, you're talking on VHF. I was able to talk from inside the cove to the radio tower here in Greenville, and they were actually able to hear me, which I've never been able to do before. So.
And on the fly, we can go back and address, and I know we've got a future plan for you of what we're doing to upgrade your system from the Forest Road site, the PSC wireless site, and Warm Springs, updating the site out on Mount Carmel Road, and then the site at Mountville, and possibly the site at the industrial park. As you build that core of your conventional system, then that's going to give you a platform that you can use on a day-to-day basis, as well as the FirstNet as you move forward. But the FirstNet gets you up in coverage in areas you do not have it now and gets these guys communications in a critical issue.
Just kind of follow up on what you asked earlier about the radios we've had in the past. I mean, I've been in law enforcement here in the county for close to 20 years, and we've never had any kind of public safety grade radio system here. It's always been more of a consumer or business grade, and that's a big difference from this is versus what we've done in the past that's failed. What we've been using has never been designed for what we do.
Okay, the reason we're asking all these questions is trying to get to the bottom of it. Because what we approved last time, the site, this, and if we approve the other site upgrades, it's $750,000. We're fixing to sign
Yeah.
off right here.
In just touching on that, if you'll remember, the sort of degradation in your coverage of service happened after the two big storms came through Meriwether County.
Yeah.
The first one took down the site at Forest Road. You lost that whole site that was out of operations for almost 2 years. Had another storm, not a storm, but a tractor trailer pulled down your tower right at Station 100, so you lost that tower. We had to move equipment to the only location in town, which is on the sheriff's department. Your signal degraded by 2 sites, so you've been crippled by coverage for the last 2 years, and it's put these guys in an awkward position from a safety standard, not being able to talk in. They could hear it, but they couldn't talk back to it. So what we're doing with your conventional system is building simulcast at the other sites that will give you a system that you own and operate, but it gives you that second thread of FirstNet when and where you need it, and you can move between the two.
Because if we'd had this during this past 2 years, this LTE coverage version would have made it a lot better for you guys.
Yeah, if it was the right kind of LTE system. I mean, this is night and day different from anything we've been operating on in the past. I mean, you can't even compare the two, to be honest with you, because you got.
What am I comparing?
No, I'm just saying you can't compare this versus what we've had in the past. They're not even.
No, I'm saying if we had these radios that were LTE compatible with FirstNet, in the last 2 years with those tower losses, would not have impacted you guys.
That's right, yeah.
Exactly.
90% of your impact wouldn't have felt it.
90% of the time, you wouldn't have had any impact from that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think Chairman Worsley asked that question. If y'all took the radios and tested it and you was able to talk from here and there and so forth, if these radios make that big of a difference, why do we need to spend the money on the other upgrade stuff at this time if the radios is going to make a big difference right now?
I don't know what's on at the current time. I know a lot of that's just getting the backup system, like you said, the backbone up and running to where it was. If you have something come through and a cell tower goes down, well, that LTE is now gone. Whereas if you at least got a backup VHF system, you still have something you can fall back to.
So that is our next item, so we can wait and discuss it then
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
muddy the two, because I shouldn't have done that. And
No, you're fine.
In
we're gonna
public,
come up with it again.
yeah,
in
in
just a
pub-
minute,
in
so.
public safety, you need to have that alternative backup, which you own and control the entity, which is your current radio system that you're in the process of upgrading. That LTE will solve your problems, give you the coverage you got in 4 corners of the county to probably a 90+% or better, and fix the problems that you currently have, in my opinion.
Well, I think part of the confusion is when those were purchased a few years ago, it was portrayed that those did work in the cove because some deputies took them down there and they were working because they were on the public safety network. That was the promise given back then, that they were on the public safety network, they ran by a SIM card, these are gonna be amazing. And then 6-9 months later, all of a sudden they're no longer working at all. And then everybody was, but they took some to the cove
Yeah, and I think,
according to their records.
from my knowledge of it, I think you had a device that was non-public safety grade. It was a consumer grade radio that a chip was being put in, and I don't think it was truly a FirstNet SIM. It may have been roaming to different networks. That's my clarity.
Well, that
vision on what
explains
may
some
have-
hesitancy because we, as the board, we
Ab-
weren't the ones
abs-
checking them and seeing what the SIM was
Absolutely.
in it. We were going by what we were told.
What I'm
Again,
bringing to you is backed by knowledge of being public safety grade, from the radio up and the network being FirstNet.
And the compatibility moving forward with the next generation 911, all that legislation that's coming through.
You're
These
right.
are the,
You're on board with
and
that.
that, the infrastructure that we're putting in has that in line for the grants to help increase all that.
The
as it's coming
radios are talking to the 911 center. The next generation 911 process you're talking about that's being mandated is on how your operators talk to the networks that you're getting, your NCI, GSI, all of that data stuff. So absolutely, your major entities throughout the United States are using Harris radios and are positioned in the major metropolitan cities supporting that. So absolutely, we're in key with everything that's coming down the pipe. You're getting the leading edge technology, and it's top of the line by Harris, and we exceed any of the expectations and requirements for the protocols.
And I understood the question about compared to Motorola versus, price points, like we checked Fayette County, Spalding County, Harris County, Georgia State Patrol, Florida Highway Patrol, they're all running Harris.
Okay.
So, it's also the primary radio contractor for the military.
So we obviously, the things that were brought to our attention about some situations our deputies have been in, we don't want that to continue, so we want to get something done better. But it's also brought to our attention that the fire personnel, with their current radios, if they went into a building that had a gas leak, they're not allowed to take them in.
That's correct.
What is the deal with these new radios?
Basically, in your fire division platform, and I'm a firefighter down in Ellerslie, I've been there for 20 years. You have to use intrinsically safe radios to meet the expectations for explosion. Does everybody have those radios? No. They're out there, they're available at a higher price point. The price point we give to you on these radios for your fire department, those 20 radios, has intrinsically safe built into them, meet all the expectations required in fire. So yes, we brought that up and covered it in there. So as you move forward, you certainly want to start buying radios that has intrinsically safe. It is an extra added cost point. Most people elect not to because of the cost over the years, but now you're moving into a platform. And my vision for the county right here is now you're building a system that you want to be consistent moving forward. Don't buy this, this, and this because it was $10 or $50 cheaper. Stick with one platform that we can say we meet all expectations in fire and SO moving forward.
The intrinsically safe set aside, I can say from personal experience, the high-nets we've been using, you get them slightly damp, they stop working. You can forget them working, and firefighters, former firefighters, lots of water.
Yeah.
So,
So the price is the same for the 34 for the sheriff and the 20 for the fire, so they all have this intrinsic.
Well,
deal, so.
if you look at the price point, there's a few dollars difference on the radio itself based on those options being put in when it comes down to the per unit cost. I have it broke down on what the 20 units would cost, but there's a difference, and the difference comes into the intrinsically safe green housing being put on it, which is what you need for firefighters so that they can see the radio should they drop them in the fire nighttime and so forth. But we also incorporated 20 extra batteries for your firemen because they're going to be more of a shift change issue where if they've got a big fire going on, you need to have spare batteries in there. So there are 20 extra batteries in there for fire radios. And we only allocated one radio for the PDs. Because typically you guys are issued out one radio, you're going to keep it. You may have a situation where your firemen may be changing shifts and handing different radios off.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody from the board have a recommendation for this item? I have another question. Is this a funding source could SPOS be a funding source for this purchase? Since it is shared in the fire equipment?
I believe so, and I would have to look at the referendum because it is equipment and vehicles. This could fall under SPOS as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I also want to point out that the proposal from Williams comes with a donor radio and 2 gateways. That's why the price is about $50,000 more. Because we're getting a donor radio antenna from these communications, which that tower by itself would be, what, 90,000 roughly?
Yeah, two gateways to tie your existing fire channels to the LTE so that the conventional radio users that don't have the ULT radios can talk to the firemen that's got the newer radios, such as your volunteers. The fire or your SO radios will be, if they're on the LTE channel, it will be linked back to your conventional channel. So if you got somebody in this county that's on a conventional radio, compatibilities. So we tie all that back into.
What's the donor radio antenna?
That is a physical radio that will talk to your conventional radios that you currently have, but it has an Ethernet connection and a gateway built into it. We can tie to the internet, and at that point, we bind it back to the LTE network. So any traffic that comes in on the LTE, subscribers that are running the radios, is tied back so you get compatibility with all the traffic. Everybody hears everything, regardless of its radio.
Any recommendations from the board?
Yeah, I make a motion, we approve the purchasing 54 Harris XL 200P with FirstNet being as a LTE provider, portable radios, and 2 gateways from Dean's Commercial, 2-way for a total of not to exceed $451,841 to be funded through LGIP funds.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. I just want funding out of LGIP, that's my opinion.
And commissioners.
Item number
Yes.
3. Consideration of the proposal from Dean's Commercial 2-way radio for equipment and site services agreement with BSC, quote 1048.
Commissioners, this item was tabled from the August 4th meeting with Dean's Commercial 2-way providing 2 quotes. Quote 1047, which was approved. That was between the Warren Springs and the Forest Road towers. Quote 1048 is for the PSC tower. It's 193,722.60. It's to relocate the equipment from the sheriff's office to the PCS tower behind Texaco. It can be reduced by $41,000 if we don't need a microwave link, if we go with kudzu, which is the next item, I believe.
Yes.
Staff is requesting to table this to November 10th to allow us time for us to get the permitting, the allocation of space, make sure everything equipment-wise, engineering-wise, is structured sound, because we do not own that tower. But we should have rights to put equipment on there. We just need to run it through PSC.
This is another item that could be funded through SPOS also.
Correct. And that's why we put on there, it could be LGIP, but we could bring it back with a different funding source at that time. And I spoke with Dean before the meeting, and he's fine with, November 10th, bringing it back. That gives him time to get everything he needs done that's currently up there. We don't want to put too much so fast and not have everything up and running.
We won't have an issue with tabling that till November 10th.
I don't know. But I was gonna ask a question. Do we need a tower like in the Allerton area? Because we approved that cell tower there, that new one, and that was part of the deal that Now the county could put something on it.
We've actually looked at that tower for part of the long-term, of just getting everything phased in. That's one that we have looked at. I think, where's that tower exactly? Do you remember?
Where's the tower at?
Yeah.
While we're talking, if you don't mind, come back up because they video all this, and I don't want people trying to figure out who's in the audience talking.
Yeah, we did look at
The
that
tower I'm talking about is the new one that's right there by the caution light now, but then right next door to the two new commercial buildings, and
Okay, that may not be the tower we looked at then.
it's a brand new one. It went in last year.
Okay.
Okay. And let me touch on basically where we're at. The plan moving forward is we bring the sites updated to simulcast for Forest Road, PSC Wireless, and Warm Springs. At that point, we're going to do a coverage map analysis to see what we've got. Then we will look at the opportunities, what tower makes sense as you move forward. It may or may not be the ones we have listed. I think Mountville's still going to be a good tower for you guys because it addresses the east side of or the west side of the county, back into Dallas Mill Road, Pine Mountain, and the Grange area. But we certainly will look on the north side. But yes, we will run some coverage maps and evaluate and bring back a solution option for you guys and let y'all make that decision based on what gives you the best coverage. And it comes back in, if you have an agreement with the carrier that you can get on the site at no cost, absolutely we want you to take advantage of that. So we'll look at your best interest in that and evaluate what works best.
I just want to make sure y'all had that tower
We do.
in your
We
sites.
we have a list of every tower that's in the county. It will be considered in the system design as we move forward. We just got to get the core back up. We get your first 3 sites back up. That's going to get you a good amount of coverage that we can now take a breath, figure out where you want to go for the expansion past that.
I'll make a motion, we table that till the November the 10th meeting.
Second that motion, all in favor? Item number 4, consideration of the proposal from Kudzu Networks, a subsidiary of Diverse Power Internet Infrastructure.
Commissioners, this was tabled from the August 4th meeting as well. Kudzu submitted 2 proposals, one at 36 months, one at 60 months. Approval of the selected proposal and staff's recommending the 60 months. It comes out to a total of $114,600 annually. This will help the necessary infrastructure to deliver service to the county. The county's current service provider is Spectrum, with the existing agreement set to expire around September 2027. This was previously stated as September 26th. We actually got the contracts over and they were renewed in September of 2024 for 3 years. I still need to reach out to them and their department to find out the equipment will go to month after October of next year when it's fully paid off on lease, or are they requiring us to sign another 5-year agreement? So I have not been able to contact sales and get a phone call back finding out about the lease equipment.
So we don't know from Spectrum what the penalty will be. For
The buy is 100% of the remaining balance. And one recommendation from staff, and Director Brown cannot be here because his wife had surgery and he's probably went back to after Labor Day. We could use this as a redundancy, as a backup, while Kudzu's building their infrastructure out, and we would have redundancy. I can, probably 6-7 times this year, internet has done went down in this building and throughout the county. But to buy it out, you're looking at $121,540 by my calculation. Now that's give or take, depending on when the actual agreement went into effect. And I kind of got to wait until Director Brown's here to get that number because they only talk to whoever's listed on the account, and Director Brown's the main point of contact for that, so.
I just hate to sign an agreement when we already got an existing agreement.
And Kudzu, I spoke with Randy, and they don't plan on, they can go live July next year. If we need to push it out a little bit, they can. They just want a commitment that will go with them if they build the infrastructure. And that would also help the citizens of Greenville potentially to have Kudzu internet at some point.
When do they start billing us monthly?
Whenever they go live, and that's,
Is that in the contract stated that way?
We don't have a contract with them
Yeah.
yet. They haven't provided a contract, just a proposal, but I
Yeah.
don't think they bill until they go live.
That's the
Yeah.
way it is residentially.
That's
Because
right.
they came out and built it out until then we signed the agreement, finalizing after they built it.
The board wish we could table this September 8th, and IT Brown, Director Brown should be back. He can answer a little bit more questions on this. And that gives us time to reach out to sales and tie in all the numbers and try to get an exact dollar amount.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with Commissioner Collins, we'll buy that out, so we're gonna sign up for $114,000 over 5 years, right?
Correct.
And then pay 124 just to get out of what we already got, just to have redundancy, add 114, so I'm, yeah, we need a little more explanation.
The bigger kick is gonna be is the lease equipment. If they make us sign another 5-year agreement, that's when it will come down, do we wanna sign a 5-year agreement for the equipment and left with 2 years, or buy it out, or if they're gonna go month to month? That's the biggest.
So the equipment
I
lease is
don't know.
5 years, but the service lease is 3, so they keep messing you up by
Yeah.
either paying for equipment
Right.
or paying for service.
And equipment runs out next year, services in 27, so it's a year difference, so
September of next year,
September for the equipment, September, October, whenever the billing
and that
started.
should significantly change the buyout package.
Yes,
So we need to
Depending
get
off
that
his money.
payment, and then we could agree to this with a go live date, and payment starts September of 2026. That's what we need to know.
great, that's why staff recommend tabling until at least September 8th to give us time to get all the numbers together.
So I make a motion to table this till September the 8th regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5, consideration of an ordinance establish parameters for no-through truck restrictions on designated county roads.
So moved.
Commissioners, this was tabled from the August 4th meeting as well. Since then, staff has researched ordinance for no-through truck and proposed the ordinance would define the route of travel on through trucks and which roads are designated as no-through trucks. If the board approves, and is approved by legal, this ordinance will be updated. You will notice it says no through truck spelled THRU because that's what the sign states on all of them. And then the ordinance will be no through THROUGH.
Right.
And it will be section 30-3 route of travel through trucks. And we define them as 6 wheels or more, exceeding 30 feet. I can read this, or I'll give you a few minutes to read it. And you can tell my
We want
voice
it
is
to
not
be
good.
what the DA says it has to be.
Legal has reviewed it and made changes. Michael, I think, was the one who reviewed it and made the changes on it.
So is there anything?
So
in
you're
it-
telling me the THRU doesn't meet the requirements? Because that's what you said.
It does.
No, no, no.
I'm just explaining
The
why
signs
it
are
says on there.
THRU, but there's a discrepancy in the spelling, and that's what he was explaining. So in the ordinance, it will be through, THROUGH.
It's probably not a bad idea to run it by the DA, just to see if he's got any comments as well. And additionally, I think, what you've got is not necessarily in final form, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
You don't have which, roads are identified as non-through truck roads and through truck roads, which I think we're planning to add.
Correct. Staff has to go back through the minutes
This
and
is a preliminary form, this is not ready to be
Yeah, no.
added to.
Well, yeah, we want all the roads listed on it.
So you want to do all county
And since
roads?
all the signs, they say through now, THRU, wouldn't it be easier to change the ordinance to THRU instead of changing all the signs?
They just do that because of.
No, no, your
can.
signs
Metal
are,
sign you have to
your
buy.
signs are
It's gonna
fine.
stay the same.
Everything's gonna stay the same. We're just trying to explain it from this aspect of the paper.
Okay.
That we didn't
County Clerk
spell
Stevens
wrong.
asked me why it was spelled THRU in the title and then through in the action paper, but it's
Well,
because
I
of the
just don't want
sign.
that thrown out by the DA because something wasn't spelled right.
We'll run it
We're gonna
through.
get this right where, no.
I do,
We'll run it by DA Cranford to make sure this meets all his legal obligations, that this will, in fact,
I do feel like there was discussion, and I tried to find it in the minutes. I was unsuccessful, but I do feel like there was discussion amongst the board, I think it was last year, about designating all, because we kept having certain roads come up and we would designate those roads. But I do think that there was discussion about maybe doing like for all county roads.
I would
But I don't think
suggest,
anything was voted on.
I would suggest we do all county roads, and then the caveat for the drivers is if they have a destination point on that road, whether it be farm, logging,
Right.
delivering, whatever. If you, same way Atlanta does You go downtown, that's why you gotta get on 285. You got a delivery point inside the perimeter.
You can go.
You got paperwork and proof that I'm supposed to be here and you're allowed to go down. If not, you get fined and called.
And as far as the ordinance standpoint, I think it's gonna be a lot easier than just typing out each individual road in your
So all
ordinance.
county roads and with the caveat in there that as long as they have a destination point on that road,
Shouldn't be that hard to find every road on our system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
section
all
C
county
actually
roads,
states
if
what Chairman
posted.
Worsley's talking about. That they have to show from their present to law enforcement officers upon request the driver logbooks, delivery slips, or other written evidence of destination and point of origin to justify the operation of the vehicle on a prohibited road or street.
That's probably
Okay,
what
when
it
you
needs to be.
say a vehicle with 6 or more wheels, including their load, so if a dually truck is pulling a trailer with a tractor on it, you're saying he can't go on county roads?
No, we're not putting a weight limit on it.
I know, but no, this has how many wheels it has.
Or-
It says 6 wheels, including what they're pulling.
Yeah, but
So
what they're
that's only
referring to is
saying-
semi-tractor trailer, so you got
I
a
understand, but
clarification
if-
on that.
But this is
You're gonna
just
have to-
saying 6 or more wheels.
You're gonna have to make
We're gonna
that
have to clarify,
specified.
because if you've
Yeah.
got
You-
people pulling a
What I
trailer,
suggest is if you read through the ordinances, give your feedback to the administrator, because, they may have some tweaks in
Right.
this, and in the meantime. you
because
can
that
send it
limits you pulling hay down the road.
Well, now, because you have a right to be down that road, because you got, hey, you're not cutting through there.
Yeah, but
to get to
it says in here, trucks hauling forest product from the location where cut to the owner's business. Trucks hauling farm animals, materials, equipment, machinery, and supplies of farm product from a farm processing plant business or farm in Meriwether County or adjoining county. Trucks or vehicles and equipment owned or contracted by Meriwether County or the state of Georgia for the construction, repair, or maintenance of roads and within Meriwether County. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. If you got business on that road, if you cutting somebody's grass on that road or plowing somebody's field on that road, you got right to be on that road.
Right.
But you can't go through that road to get from point A to point B just to save time.
I think Commissioner Snelson's concern is a kind of residential or, non-commercial grade, vehicles that may have a trailer. And so she's, I think,
Yes.
suggesting there may be some tweaks to the language to exempt kind of your residential,
We're rural.
carriers, or not
Right.
carriers, but.
Well, that might be in the thing, it says for an overall length exceeding 30 feet.
so you guys got some work to do, right? So let's
Right.
get our suggestions to the staff and then y'all go through it and refer with the DA to make sure it's gonna be ironclad and then bring it back.
Yep.
So I'm gonna make a motion, we table this to, how long does that take?
I'll do sometime in October.
So
I was gonna say
October
October,
16th.
November.
So make a motion to table this October 6th, 2025 regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
But you're tabling it for them to get it for us to look at.
Review and get to the DA
Right, we
to
all
work out all
wanna
the
do it, 'cause
logistics.
we're gonna make sure it's done right.
Because what
Wording is right, yeah.
what you're doing, do I need to have a public hearing for that, since we're adding an ordinance?
I can double check, but since it's not a zoning
Zoning.
ordinance.
You asked that, I think, at the last meeting,
Yeah.
I don't think we
and
do.
Nathan said it doesn't require a public hearing.
Right.
Okay. Next item is new business. Item 1, set a public hearing for 2025 tax digest.
Commissioner staff is requesting that a public hearing be scheduled for 5:30 on September 8, 2025, prior to the regular meeting at 6. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public input on the proposed 2025 tax digest and millage rate.
I'll make a motion, we hold it on the 5:30 on the 8th.
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes. Item 2, set a public hearing for fiscal year 2025-26 budget.
Commissioner staff is requesting that a public hearing be scheduled for 5 p.m. on September 23, 2025, prior to the regular meeting at 6. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public input on the proposed FY 25-26 budget.
I make a motion that we set a public hearing for 5 o'clock on September 23rd before the regular meeting is 6 for public input on the proposed 25-26 budget.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3, request for an increase in the per diem rate for Board of Assessors meetings.
Commissioners, the Board of Assessors are requesting an increase in their per diem rate for its meetings. The current rate is $75 per meeting. The request to raise it to 150 per meeting, and the request is attached to the issue paper.
How often they meet?
I believe it's twice a month, unless it's
Twice a
appeal,
month.
twice a month, and I believe during appeal season, maybe more than that. I'm not mistaken, Commissioner Collins sat on that board, so he probably know more of the meeting dates than
Twice a
I
month,
would.
probably 8 months, and then once a month, 4 months, or something similar to that.
Do we know where they came up with the number? I mean, was there any justification given or just, hey, we want to.
There's a letter behind on the next one,
My thing
page
is,
51.
I got one question. It says time commitment. Board members dedicate substantial time, both during and outside of scheduled meetings, to review assessment data. I think that's holds true to all board members. They all
Yeah.
donate their time, you know, whether it be at the Board of Assessors or the Airport Authority Board and all that. How many other boards get, per diem?
The Planning and Zoning Board,
What did they get? What does the planning and zoning board get for me?
50,
50?
50 or 75.
How often they meet?
It's one is,
It could be once a month, it may
Yeah.
not be once a month, it just depends if they have any
at the most is
cases.
once a month.
I serve on the IDA board, they don't get anything on the board,
No, and then the
that's once a month.
Board of Equalization, they haven't met in quite some time, I believe.
And I don't know what theirs is. Election.
The Board of Elections, they meet.
Lake Meriwether board don't get per diem.
No.
Did we just raise this last year?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion, we just put a hold on it at this time.
A second?
On for
So
But,
you're either, you say put a hold, so you either
I
table it to
make
another
a motion,
meeting
we do
or
not
deny it.
approve the increase at this time.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
That was not to improve, right?
Not to approve.
Okay. Request from the tax assessor's office for authorization of William Harris as a check signer for the tax assessor's office.
Commissioners, the Board of Assessors is requesting that William Harris be added as an authorized check signer on the tax assessor's bank account ending in 8099 at First People's Bank. The current authorized signers on the account are County Administrator John Gorton, Chairman Adam Worsley, Vice Chairman Emmett Collins, and County Clerk Allison Stevens. Attached is a resolution prepared by the tax assessor's office which requires approval by the Board of Commissioners and authorization for the chair or vice chair to sign. I would like to note on the resolution, Commissioner Thurgill has very strong opinions against signing a resolution because it gives the power. If that person changes from that, then you're stuck at that. I would recommend that we add William Harris to their account because they bring money in and that's for the CUVA and FLIPA applications that are filed at the courthouse. Right now, he signs the checks and the bank has reached out and said he's not an authorized check signer, so they won't honor the check anymore.
He signed a check for what?
The tax assessor's bank account, just to pay the clerk of courts.
Just.
Yeah, the money goes to the tax assessors deposit in the bank, they write a check to the clerk of courts, and Will signs it now, and he's been only signer on there for the past couple of years, I believe, signing that account.
He's been signing on something that hasn't approved and never gonna approve it.
The way, correct.
If he's
The
down on
bank-
the
the bank
signature card,
authorized-
how was he signing?
Yeah, the bank notified me about 2 weeks ago that Will was signing checks, and I was like, I didn't know he was not a check signer on that account. So the bank reached out to me and told me he was not a signer on that account.
So have other tax assessors been allowed to do that? I mean,
That's something I would have to check into myself to see.
I'm not familiar with it.
well, I'm not, because I didn't be
Yeah.
here, so I don't know. And so the question is,
I can ask
is this
David
a common
Knowles.
practice we've done over the decades, and why didn't we, is it something that fell through the cracks, or is there a reason
I don't
why we
ever
didn't do this?
recall a resolution
Yeah.
being done.
Well, resolution is different, but being added onto the account to be a signer.
I think it just
is
fell
that
through the
common
cracks.
practice or not?
I can ask David Knowles, he was the chief appraiser here, and find out if he signed checks or if he had someone in administration sign.
Okay, so how much difficulty is this for you guys to do this and
Just-
we get more information.
Bring a check down and sign it,
Yeah.
30
I mean, in
seconds.
the office right here now.
Correct.
So if he was going up there, he'd just swing by here, sign, check.
30 seconds, we can have it signed and done.
Okay. So I would suggest maybe we table this later and we get some more information.
When do y'all want to table it till?
Well, does it have to have one signature or does it have to have two like the?
It's only been one signature at the moment, and the check that presented to me from Cindy at the bank was just Will Harris's signature on the check.
You know, is that financially sound?
It needs to really be two
We
signatures
always
on
sign
it,
two.
just out of that dual control process from an audit standpoint.
So if we added him to the account that he was a signer, then he could still just drop by and get one other person. That way, in case two people were out that needed to sign it that day, and that way he and John or he and Allison could handle it quickly instead of it delaying. I mean, I would be okay with that, especially if there's two people and he comes by, say one's out sick, add him to the account, and that way, whichever one of them are here, it could go ahead and get taken care of instead of delaying
I
it.
think you need to require two signatures though. when
Well,
you
that's what I'm
vote.
saying,
Okay.
his and one of yours,
I think we require the two signatures, let them know we're not gonna do a resolution. And
right?
then table this until Monday, September 8th.
Didn't y'all previously pass a resolution that requires all the bank accounts to be, I thought that was,
It was not a resolution, it was just a action item.
okay.
Commissioner Thurgill was, they never done a resolution
No.
prior.
It gives up too much power.
Yes.
This board is responsible for.
But then what would be the reason for tabling if we're going to do two signatures, whether he's there or a new tax assessor comes in? They would still have to come by here and get a second signature.
Correct, we just had to do a signature card change.
But because we don't have on the agenda to add him as a signer.
Let's just say if he was not there, then it would fall back to one of ours, you, Mr. Emmett, or us two.
Yeah.
So to his point, do we make a motion and say we?
Can we make a motion, even though it's worded differently on the agenda, can we make a motion to add him as a check signer on the account and require two signatures?
And deny the resolution at the same time?
It is on the agenda, request,
Well,
him
yeah, the
just
agenda
check
is
signs
just-
the tax assessor's office,
Yeah,
but we
that's
can
correct.
change it to two signatures, not just his.
That's correct.
You can make a motion to, yes, you can make a motion to add William Harris to, as a check signer for that specific account, subject to the same two authorized signer authentication that y'all already currently have in place.
I'll
And
make
we
that
require
motion.
two signatures.
Correct, I mean, y'all
Same.
already got that in
Yeah,
place.
it's already-
I know there was at least a motion
Yes.
that was passed, where y'all made that a requirement,
We do it every year.
okay, every year.
So all the checks
So all
that he's
your-
been signing all this time was getting two signatures in too?
Just one, and these checks range, Tim, what are they, like a couple $100?
Well, I don't care about the amount, but you're saying the bank notified that he's signing checks.
Yes.
He was just doing a job. I'm not saying he's done something, but he was signing checks. But he wasn't coming by here and getting a second signature.
Correct,
But
because
yet our policy says it takes two signatures. So
He
how
did
did all that
not.
slip through?
Our policy changed, that's probably been common practice for a while in the office. That's what he needs, I would say you need to find out, but I'm assuming that it was caught by Cindy, and that's why Cindy called John.
That's all was that we got a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
As stated by Michael, the attorney, by Commissioner Snelson.
Yes.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All right, now we can finish discussing that.
all right, I'll get the signature
I
cards.
agree with you.
We're done with that, so.
Well, we need to understand why.
I'll bring back to the board why, yeah.
Like I said, until he probably changed it, audit requirements to keep us out of a deficit, from what I'm understanding, put those extra policies in place, that was probably been common practice.
And the bank probably got audited, and that's how they flagged it, because it was not a signer on Meriwether County's authorized signers.
Not that he was being fraudulent by any means, but we need to make sure we understand where we're
But
lacking.
he's
at.
updated on that policy.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and let the bank know it has to have two signatures from that.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay, item number 5 is request from the Board of Elections to increase hourly rate.
Commissioners, the Board of Elections in Meriwether County functions as a working board conducting testing and performing many duties that other counties often contract out. Attached is the local legislation that established the Board of Elections and Registration. 16 states The members of the board shall receive such compensation for their services as members of the board as may be determined by the Board of Commissioners of Meriwether County. Currently, they're compensated $50 per meeting and $15 per hour for additional work. They're requesting that hourly rate be increased from $15 to $25 per hour. And you do have an email from Director Threadgill.
So who does this apply to?
It's a three-member board of the elections.
Board of Elections.
Just the board members?
Correct.
All right, so that's 3 people that was one person. How many hours a week, a month, or whatever week do they normally do?
Since I represent a number of election boards pretty closely, I can't tell you the number of hours. What ends up happening though is in and around an election time,
Oh, certainly.
they are basically boots on the ground for the superintendent or the supervisor, which is Patty in this case. So they're typically in and around those November, March, June.
Time special.
Yeah, those election times is when you're gonna see them there late at night. There's a couple of extra meetings that they have to call in order to, reconcile votes and things of that nature that don't follow in their normal procedures. But I can't tell you the number of hours.
Well, I'm just curious, I want to sign an open-ended check of,
What's the rate being paid now? What's the rate that wants it to be?
$15 now to $25.
66% increase.
I think
And the board has the
if you
authority to
want
say it.
A good estimate, then you could probably just pull their records from the last fiscal year or last calendar year and then, multiply it, like you said, by 0.66.
It'd just be nice to know what's the financial impact of this decision. It's a 66% increase, 66% of $100 or $50,000. There's a big difference there.
Yeah,
So can we maybe table this and ask
Correct.
her to provide that data, or you guys?
I can pull the data.
Okay. Anybody got, I'll make a motion.
And I apologize for not having data with me and
I'll make a motion to table this to the September 8th regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Next is item 6, concession trailer decals for recreation department.
Good evening.
Okay.
Commissioners, we certainly appreciate the concession trailer. It has been an invaluable asset to us already. What we would like to do is make it a little more our own and dress it up so people know that it is representing Meriwether County. We've presented you with, on the back here, with 6 of our favorite. There's different logos there. We can change the color patterns on any of those between the orange and blue and white and silver. But we would like to put a couple of them on the trailer so it represents Meriwether County. And just wanted y'all's thoughts on which ones y'all would prefer. And if you don't have a preference, then, we can do it ourselves or,
Well, maybe, I think this may be something that your new board determines. I mean, if we need to approve the funding source, that's one thing, but we just appointed an entire recreation board.
Right.
That you and that board can say, hey, I think it's a decision you guys should make.
We do need to figure out when they need to meet too, because they
Why ain't
may,
they meeting?
Right.
I mean, I can't just set their meeting for them. I don't know what date, time, or,
No, but I would have thought somebody would have reached out to them and said, y'all are the board, when y'all want to start
I
meeting,
have.
where you want to meet at, and why ain't we meeting?
I just need their information.
I've got all
Can you
that.
give me that and I'll set up a meeting. Just let me know who all needs to be there.
I thought that it was to be set by y'all. That's why I did not recommend any times.
No, that's fine.
That was my assumption too.
Well, if it needs to be set by us, then we can.
Okay.
We need those board members to come here and meet with us and let's have a discussion of what days and times of the week work best for them. So maybe that's the avenue to take, is invite them, they need to come to the next meeting to determine that.
Well, and like I said, I can reach out and talk to them and see. that's no
That
problem.
probably would be okay. I mean, if you guys are
Get a
okay with it.
consensus from that. I just don't want to
Okay.
schedule somebody and they never
I
show
would say
up.
possibly the second meeting in September, because that first one's getting pretty full.
Yeah, and just as a FYI, we will not be here that first meeting in September. We're in training.
Oh,
You kept tabling, I'm like,
I can't write.
we will be online.
You can't read my writing.
We will be online, but
So
we will
can
not
we
be.
request the new recreation board to come the second meeting in September? Do you have the dates for
September
that?
23rd.
23rd.
What are these logos here you presented?
Those are some of our favorite choices that we could blow up and put decals on there. They're just a variety of different ones that we,
Are all the teams Eagles?
Yes.
yes, sir. All of the Meriwether County Recreation is what's my understanding is the Eagles. That was my understanding. Y'all voted on that and made that the official, logo is the Eagles.
Well, it could have been they were playing at the Woodbury facility, and that was used to be.
Right, and I
I
think
think
that's
that's the
one
reason
thing
why
to
it
do
was the
was
Eagles.
part of it, because they wanted to keep that tradition alive too.
And the gym has the Eagles already placed in there, so.
And we provide recreation services for, 3 different high schools, which have 3 different mascots, and which I've had to present to other officials and tell them, if they can come up with a blue Patriot Wildcat, maybe we can come up with that, but that's just not feasible. So, the Eagles is just,
That's true.
it sounds
Something
good.
different.
And it works.
So do you have any kind of costing for this? Or is it depending
No,
on
sir, we
our
haven't discussed cost yet. I'm guessing probably less, I don't know, John, you know a little more about
It
it.
would fall under my approval threshold.
It would, I feel like it might even fall under my threshold, under $1,000.
Yeah.
It can't get that expensive. but
Right.
No.
Two things, some of them you can't hardly read, so I wouldn't put that on there. And I
Right.
think it needs to say Meriwether County, not MC, going down the road. Somebody wouldn't know what
Right.
an MC Recreation or MC
Yes.
Eagle was. And somewhere on there, it should have our Meriwether County seal,
Right,
where it actually says Meriwether County, Georgia, blah, blah, blah,
yes, sir.
whatever
Our county seal.
our
Right.
county seal needs to definitely be on.
Actually, that,
No, that's Boris, that's not,
you're
like we have on the
not gonna
shirts.
be, yeah, I know, I got you.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, it could be somewhere on there.
All right, so we're gonna get the information from the board members.
Okay.
This will fall under you guys' approval, and let them make this decision, so we're
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
out,
Yep.
right?
all right,
Yeah,
Are they good for you?
works for me.
trust y'all.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Do y'all want to, invite the board members? Is that something we need to just,
My personal opinion, I would think it would be his job to reach out to the board members that's been selected, that chose to be on here. They figure out where they're gonna meet and have the first meeting, and then they decide who's gonna be either as chair, vice chair, or president, vice president, just like you do the planning and zoning thing, and get that in their first meeting and start putting a list down. Okay, what is our projections? What are we trying to do here? And let that board go to work. I don't know why they would come to us. That's what we appoint them for, to be a
I
board.
think we're supposed to set the frequency of meetings and date and time of
I
meetings.
think that was set in the ordinance.
It was at least quarterly.
It's at least quarterly.
Quarterly, and it said at their first meeting, I believe, is when they would elect officers, so,
Right.
I mean, the only reason we held off so long is
I
because,
don't think y'all have any more obligations. on
But let's schedule a meeting with them, find out what works best, and kick it off.
you can let us know in case one of us like to attend too.
Oh, yes.
We're with 3 of
Yeah.
us here, but
Right.
she also, she's been talking with them. She might like to go, or.
Yeah, she's down there pretty regular, so
I do
she
know
keeps
they're
me
gonna-
straight.
they are gonna ask them what's expected from the board of them. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna wanna know.
That and your projection to them should be is for them to work as a board for the betterment of the county and not work for what you want.
Yes, sir.
Or what Randy wants, or
Right.
what parent. That's why we have a variety of a board for them.
Tell us what the people would like, what the
There you go.
people of the county
There
want.
you go.
So, and then we'll make a best judgment off of
Well,
that.
we look forward to hearing what's the process or progress.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, item number 7, request for recreation software.
Commissioners, this is something I spoke with John about even during my hiring process months ago. As far as a software program for participants to register on. I before I even started here, started reaching out to some of my contacts for quotes to figure out what could possibly be done. It's a convenience thing. I have used these. Most departments do use some kind of recreation software program now. People do everything online. They can register online. We can also track our concession sales or any other sales that we may have. We can send out invoices, which we do through Square now. Currently, we use the Google forms, and we send that out, let people register through it, and then I have to take and all that information, I transfer it to an Excel document, and then I send out invoices through Square where people pay. The two options, I narrowed it down to Civic Rec, which there's some departments that use it. The county already uses Civic Plus for some of their court documents and that kind of thing. I'm not very familiar with it. I have spoken with other directors. Even prior to this, I've talked to the people at conference when I went to GRPA conference last year about their products. The cost is for that particular program for Civic Rec is about $5,200 a year. Like I said, though, it keeps track of our birth certificate. We can ask them to submit birth certificates, all kinds of information. And once their information is in on either one of these programs, it's kind of there. The biggest differences is going to be the little bit of difference in cost and the familiarity and the ease of use. People I've talked to, and I'll tell you this, I used RecDesk at Bowden, and it was a phenomenal tool. I could schedule games, I could schedule practices, I could log, and people, you as an individual could go on and see a calendar of when we have games, when we have a practice scheduled, on what field if we want to, all the way down the line, just the whole tracking thing. Civic Rec is, like I said, currently used, but it's $5,200 a year roughly, and then they have a graduated scale to it. And then RecDesk, which is my personal preference because I'm very familiar with it. I've also spoken with them. I will not need the training that goes along with it because I am so familiar with it and can train whoever else that we may need to have it. It's just basically getting it up and going. I did speak with the Civic Rec representative. He said it could take anywhere from 11 to 12 weeks to get up and running, but he felt like we could cut that time significantly, probably 3 to 4 weeks. And talking to the RecDesk representative, they said they could have it up by the time we start basketball registration. We plan on starting basketball registration on September the 15th, and then we'll run it for about a month and a half.
It's September 2nd, it's basketball sign up.
Yes, we said the 15th.
I was told the 2nd.
You don't play basketball?
No, but I was told to make sure that it was known as the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
and like I said, it may. But if we get it up and rolling by the 15th, that still gives us a month and a half registration. Here's my experience through registration. You don't have, it doesn't matter what you have, even if you start on the 2nd or the 15th, those first 2-3 weeks, you're not going to get maybe 1 or 2 people register. They come in the last week. They come in the last week and the last day to register.
Does the board have any recommendations on this software?
Commissioners, I would like to say that if you go at Rec Desk, the expiration date was May 2nd, so I would do a contingent upon an updated quote and to ensure legal has reviewed the Rec Desk agreement, which I believe they have, but just, I would put that in the motion as well for either one of them.
And the Civic Plus system, of what Alan's referring to, is what I use for my agenda software. I also use it for open records. We also use it for our website. So I don't know if there would be any type of wiggle room on that because we're already an existing customer using several of their platforms.
Then we shall look into that.
Yeah, and they've came back with the legal changes and they're willing to work on some, but not all. And we expected that with Civic Plus, but that's the same way with
The limitations of liability.
It's the same, I don't know what their conversation's been, but I know that the last time we approved the master agreement to Civic Plus, there were certain things they didn't approve, and I think the board, made a decision based on what I'm guessing is still the same.
It looks like it's the same that you sent me from the master agreement, that they're willing to accommodate some, but not all the requests, and like limited liability is one.
So do we think we would get more than $400 worth of underling savings with Civic
I don't know.
Plus?
I don't know what the savings would be. I mean, we could always ask, but I'm not sure.
The quotes they've given me go from this around 5,100 and then they increase up until like year 4 or 5 and then it comes back down to about the 5,200. They did come off huge of what they initially told me. Initially, they told me over $10,000.
And they dropped it because we're an existing customer.
Right, because they're existing customers, they did come down to that.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to allow the Recreation Department to purchase software from Rec Desk not to exceed $5,000 upon legal review and updated quote.
Second.
Funding source, we can pay for it out of SPOS. So
Funding source out of SPOS.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Next item is consideration of a fundraising event for recreation.
Commissioners, a couple of years ago, I had the honor of working with some retired Harlem Globetrotters. They're called the Harlem Legends. They come out and put on a Harlem Globetrotter style performance. They also have camps that they host and different activities that you can partake in. Michael Douglas is the director of that program now. Anyway, a few months ago, right after I started, I was asked about doing some basketball camps. I mentioned this to some of the parents, and the cost for them to do a basketball camp was pretty steep. It was about $150 per participant for 3 or 4 days, and I was like, not sure we can have a lot of folks that could afford to do that, so would we be interested in doing a fundraising event? The fundraising event we did in Bowden was very successful. It did raise some revenue, not as much as I had hoped, but it did raise some. Also brought a lot of revenue into the city as overall. I feel like this would do the same thing here, even bigger, because basketball is so much bigger in this county than it was up in that area. We could host this at the Woodbury Gym. The Woodbury Gym can hold about 800, minimum of 800 spectators, which is larger than any of the high school gyms from what I've been told. Both high school gyms, I'm not told, only house about 700.
Is the gym in Woodbury air conditioned?
It is not, but we will have that December the 13th. And so I don't think that heat would be as big an issue, and I've talked to Randy, and he doesn't think that at that time it would be an issue. It does have air conditioning in the back where we could have like a VIP area, and you get to sit and eat dinner with Globetrotters, get autographs and all kinds of different merchandise and stuff that they have. The group fundraiser sheet there shows you about what the cost would be. The one he sent me the cost for would be the 500 person group, where we would sell 500 tickets at $20 a person. Your Healthy Kid Clinics, which takes place before, VIP admission where they get to go have a meal, and of course we would find sponsors to help with the meals for the players, and any other things we might have. We could sell concessions and our own merchandise there as well to try to help with fundraising. The expense from the Globetrotters, the cost for them is about $8,700. But then our profit at the bare minimum here, what they're showing, and I think we would do far better on concessions and some of the other areas than what's projected here. And projected, we could make about $6,000 minimum.
My main concern is it right there at Christmas, because the area that we're having, and then it's $20 a person to get in if we sell 500 tickets, and then $30 for the Healthy Kids Clinic. I mean, where they're getting their numbers from, you're talking, the numbers they're talking and the prices, right? Less than 2 weeks before Christmas, it's gonna be hard in this area.
Correct. And I've
there's a lot of
spoken with
parades
Randy,
going on
I've
that
spoken
time
with
as well.
Randy about that, and one reason we're wanting to have it on the 13th is that would be like a grand finale to our startup date, because that is our startup date for basketball season. So we would have our youth basketball games that morning. That afternoon, the Globetrotters would come in, and we could still have a bunch of folks staying for that event. And we have, and here's the thing too as well, we can pre-sell the tickets. We can have the tickets printed up and sell them. And the sooner we have this, the sooner we can do it. Mr. Douglas even comes down and puts on exhibitions. I mean, if you need him, want him to come to a board meeting, I promise you, he'll come in and he'll spin a basketball for you and let you show you how to spin one. So, but just to try to encourage sales of the tickets and that kind of thing. I do believe the funds are that we do have the funds available in the recreation account. If that's the route we want to try to take, and if it's something we want to wait on, or either way. But I do know, to hold a date, we've got to get him a deposit.
I think it's a great idea myself.
I do too.
I think it's a great idea. I just don't think that we're gonna have 600 people at that price point at Christmas.
What's the amount you're saying we're probably investing to hope to
To
make
host
6,000?
To host it is about $8,700. $8,750 is what they have projected on here for the cost of the Globetrotters and for their hotel fees. And then, like I said, you find sponsorships to help feed them, to feed them and the VIPs that we charge extra for. And like I said, this is something, when I first mentioned it to Randy, he was like, yes, let's have it opening day of basketball season. And, we could wait till after the first of the year, but we still run into the same thing with Christmas in January, because everybody spent their money for Christmas.
Yeah, they
I think we would come out better now, promoting it now, and sales until, hopefully hit a big sales number between now and November, so that, and people have got money to recover before Christmas and spend their money at Christmas.
And this would be in December. And
December 13th.
When do we know how many kids we got playing for basketball?
We won't know, let's see, we end the registration October 25th. Is what we've got it set for. Of course, that depends on what league.
What
And
I'd like to see is like we did when I was in school and stuff too. When you get all registered, they're all issued so many tickets to sell.
Right, and right, we could do that, or we could,
Not just y'all working a board out there, but
Right.
each parent should take 10 tickets or
Right.
15 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
or put a little gift thing in there, whoever sells the most
Just like we used
tickets.
to sell candy bars, everybody had
I
somebody
wanted
sell
every
candy
year.
bars and all that kind of stuff, so.
They couldn't keep my freezer stocked up with candy bars, but let me tell you.
I did win the award selling magazines for my senior prom, so, you know.
So yeah, I think if there was a little gift to the side, how about, can you get Douglas to sign a
Yeah,
ball?
he will bring, a matter of fact, he brings 5 basketballs
Yeah,
that he
no.
gives away. Matter of fact, he gave us 2 or 3, and then we can designate one of those autographed balls
If
to
you
go
put
to
those
whoever.
tickets out of those kids and you put down there that whoever sells the most tickets is gonna
Right.
get an autographed ball,
Right,
you're gonna make some money.
yes, sir.
Because they gonna sell tickets to grandma and grandpa who ain't even gonna probably come, but they gonna buy the ticket. And that's all we're working for,
Right.
is the money to help with the sport program.
So if you have the money in the account, does the board need to approve that amount, or was that contingent to be approved by the director and the board there?
Due to it being over the 5,000 threshold, it would be the board's approval. And then I would recommend it come out of the recreation department bank account in Woodbury.
I'll make a motion to approve it, the fundraising project to be funded out of the recreation department, and the proceeds will pay you back, and hopefully you're getting a lot more money than that.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you much.
Item
Any other
9, sir?
Any other questions?
No. Item number 9 is discussion of private drives in Meriwether County.
Commissioner King reached out to me and he's received some information regarding private drives in Meriwether County that he'd like to discuss with the Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman of the board, I've done some research. You remember our last meeting or two, we've had some discussion about November Lane. And some of the citizens out there felt like it became a county road and they can remember when it did, then it's not a county road. And I've done my research. We have a lot of private drives or private lanes in this county because years past, family would own property and then they'd cut out a plat for the daughter or for the son or the aunt and so forth. And we have a lot of those throughout this county. One individual reached out to me and worked on this whole process 25, 30 years ago when 911 came in. All these private drives had to be named if they wanted to be put on the 911 map. So that's when that road, he worked on it personally himself and was with the fire station with 911. That's when that road became November Lane. Maybe it was in November that when it happened and that's how they picked November. I don't know that part. But you got Worley Drive over here. They've got houses there they built back before we even had building departments. Didn't even have inspections. You know, he's got his brother down there, his son's down there. He's got another family down there. And now realizing how many private drives that are out here, I know at that last meeting, I had made a motion that if they'll go out and get the survey done and do the deed work like council said has to be done and present the county the right of way and so forth, we'll go take care of it. Now knowing how many private drives we have in this county and knowing how most of these came about a name because 911 said if you want to be on the map, you had to have, you couldn't have all the mailboxes out front. You have to have a name. I think we'd be opening up something that we can't handle if we start telling everybody with private drives, if you're willing to pay for the survey, we'll come turn it into a county road. So I just, with that information and what I found out, I don't know if we need to, at that last meeting where we said, hey, yeah, if you'll go do this, we'll make it a county road, if we need to retract that, now that we understand more how they became names and they think they're a county road because they named it, or what the board feels about it, but I just don't think we can afford to open up that door at this time. Or because some of these people with private drives reached out to them, they're gonna come ask for theirs to be turned into a county road too. And so I just wanted to bring it out of the public meeting on record. And I personally don't see how we could just start turning private drives into county roads.
We haven't approved doing one yet, right? There's
No, what?
conditions still to meet.
Correct.
No, if you remember that meeting, the motion was paid, we're getting upset about it and so forth, and we said we're not gonna spend that expense on the taxpayers on their property, but if they go get it surveyed, bring it back and show us the right of way and so forth, we'd have the county go out there and bring it up to county standards. So basically, now that I know what I found out and thinking about this developer out here, if he goes out here and puts a private drive in and puts 5 houses on it, or 4, whatever planning and zoning allows for a private drive. And while he's doing that, if he goes ahead and surveys that private drive and shows the right of way and so forth, it stamps it and brings it to us, now we're going to have to go, when that's supposed to be his job to put it into a county road, and then we accept it. So it's maybe on the wrong foot here, but I think council, because help me if I'm saying that right, we're opening a door to where we might have to start.
What I'm saying is, we haven't
That's what I
approved a
was,
motion
that's
to
what I was
repeal.
looking for. Did y'all actually approve a motion, or did y'all, was this in response to
This is-
saying open, a public comment and just
Right.
saying, look,
We
you
look-
do due diligence on your part, or we'll consider it in another meeting? If it's the latter, then there's no action this board needs to be
And
taken.
there was a motion to table.
It was till they
So-
came back with their information.
Commissioner King's right in the fact that some comments were made that the board was inclined to accept this if these things were done, that we wanted to be able to help. So we didn't make a commitment or a motion to do so.
Yeah, I got a cream on my leg.
So I don't know that there's a motion that we need to repeal in case of that. There's nothing to repeal that we did it on that day, other than tabling it.
Well, I do know in there, we said something about them to go out and get a survey and roll out and bring it back to us. If we're not going to consider, I was just wanting to make sure if it needs to be, John would send a letter to them and saying at this time, because we'd hate for them to come back to us and go, we did what y'all said we did. So we need to do, and we got a survey, we all chipped in, we spent $3,900, and then we turn around now and say we're not. So I just don't want it to get in a mess. So you don't have to look at it for it now. I would just suggest that y'all find it, and depending on the wording of what was said. But I thought I said, I'd like to make a motion that we table this until they get the documentation that council says needs to be done and bring it back to us.
I want to say, I believe that was the motion too, but I think
That's
they're
your
looking for
motion,
it.
and y'all haven't committed to do anything.
Right. But I also don't want them to go out there and spend that money.
I think that's what he's saying. He doesn't want them to go out and do that and then come back to us and we say, no, we
So
I wanna know the-
all you're asking then is admin to notify them that if they choose to take the actions that were recommended before, there's no promise.
There's no guarantee that we're gonna approve it.
But that doesn't require a motion on y'all's part, if y'all just wanna, ask admin and the purpose.
But I think they may have found something.
Commissioner King made a motion to table the item until the required documents was received. Motion was seconded by Commissioner Snelson. All were in favor. And it says after continued discussion, the residents would look into getting the road surveyed and return with an update. And Chairman Worsley emphasized that completing the survey and obtaining the quitclaim deeds were essential to move forward and ensure the county could legally maintain the road without further delay or risk.
And it is, whether it's their expense or not. So it would be unfortunate for them to do that. And then there is no affirmative that we will approve in those meetings.
So that's what I'm saying, is now,
But we have to have the survey to know where the land, what land is what, who's we touching.
but we don't want them to go do that now, because if they go do that and come back and approve it, then you're gonna have other private roads gonna go survey and bring it to us, and we're gonna start taking on roads that we can't even get our main roads in shape yet. So I'm trying to nip that in the butt, however it needs to be done, professionally, courtesy, respectfully.
Right, it's just a courtesy that you're asking,
Yeah.
for instance, admin to, communicate that.
To them, to make sure,
That there's not necessarily a guarantee that the
Okay.
board would approve
right.
taking it into. the
Because I just wouldn't want to be upset and go, no, we did it. We spent this money. We did what we thought we was supposed to do. So I just don't want it to come back. And the reason I had to put on their discussion of private roads and not discussion November Lane, there was no reason for all them to come here and think we're personally talking about them. I'm addressing this as a whole through the county now, of all these private roads.
But now we do need to investigate, so our zoning ordinances for a subdivision is special requirements for, if, to your example, someone goes out and starts building a development, a subdivision, and their requirements, they have to agree to and sign up to up front. That developer can't come back and just do exactly what you said, and then we gotta take it over. They have to do curb and gutter and all those things. That's
Yeah,
already
well,
been-
if it's a subdivision, they have to do the curb and gutter, but they can go out here and it's either 3 or 4 houses on a private drive. On an easement,
Y'all
okay?
do have in place now, but y'all didn't have in place, I think, when a lot of those were done, that
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to get a pre-approval to have any plat, recorded. And so y'all will know if someone's building, easements or things of that nature before it's platted.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as a builder, I can go out here and build 3 lots.
But you can't plat it until you have approval from, I believe it's the planning director, if I'm not mistaken.
No, what I'm saying is the county allows,
You can't subdivide those lots until you have
We
it
passed,
platted.
we passed about 3
right,
months.
that's what I'm getting at. I could go in there and apply for a permit on a piece of property, show an easement with 3 houses.
Sure.
And it would be approved.
If there's not an easement.
If I saw where the county, and I don't develop those anymore, but if I saw where the county is spending their own money fixing that drive into a ditch in county specs, while I'm doing that property and surveying my lots out, I could go ahead and draw all that out and come in here and go, I want y'all to do the same thing for me that you did for this one and that one. That's what we're trying to stop.
I understand.
Okay.
They have to bring up the county standards and then we adopt that road. Right. Okay.
Which we've got precedent of with the Meadows.
So I'm asking, I guess, the county administrator to reach out to whoever, when they signed up or came in, if you got a communication or whatever, send them a nice letter from us or from the county.
I can do it,
explaining what
Mr.
we're
King.
trying to figure out, and please at this time, don't spend any money without getting back with you.
Will do. I'll reach out to him, Commissioner King.
Just know that it's at their own risk.
Yeah.
So it's-
There you go. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right,
Number 10.
number 10 is the purchase of 2 vehicles for the sheriff's department.
Commissioner, this is a paper document that you have. It's not on your tablets. Staff recommends approval to purchase up to 2 2025 Dodge Durangos from Woody Folsom and Douglas Incorporated at $44,000 each. With outfitting estimated at $10,000 per vehicle, the total cost will be $108,000. One is in stock, and this was ensure the funding source for another vehicle if it becomes available. They do have one that's in Destroyer Gray. I don't know if that's will work for the sheriff, but they get on pretty regularly at $44,000 for a 2025 Durango is a good price for us. So this will lock in 2 of the 6 requested vehicles for the sheriff's office. Funding source will be SPLOST. We also did get a quote from, who was it? John Meagle for a Ford Interceptor. They run $48,665. The sheriff prefers Dodge Durangos or Ram 1500s to maintain consistency with their fleet.
What's the $10,000 outfit?
It's the radios, the cage,
They have
the
light
lights.
bars, I mean,
So they don't use the radios out the old truck?
they
They
do,
will
but they
reuse
have to
everything they
still
can.
cut it out, I think,
Yeah.
to put it in. You don't have to
It stayed in there that they will
I know
reuse
the
any,
cage probably won't fit.
no. Anything they can reuse out of another vehicle, they will use into the Durango. And this will help rotate 1 to 2 vehicles down to one department and then get recreation of the truck that they desperately need.
I think we had this discussion before when I first came on. I don't see on here anywhere where it's showing 4x4. I cannot believe we purchased 2 trucks for as many dirt roads we have in this county without having a 4x4. If they were in a chase, if they were dealing with anything on the back country road or whatever, and we're having a rainy season, they're gonna be calling 911 to come pull them out.
I think they are, AWD, all-wheel drive, I think that's what they are. I know good and well that the Ford.
Durango might be.
Police Interceptor is AW.
But around 1500 will either say 4x4 or not. It won't be an
Well,
all-wheel
this is
drive.
Durango.
This is a,
It says down here, it says or around 1500 main,
That's what they prefer.
huh?
The sheriff prefers a Durango or a Ram 1500.
Right, and around 1500 doesn't automatically have all-wheel drive. It has to be a 4x4.
Yeah, we would, if anything we brought back, we'll bring a
the price quote
4x4.
they got us.
Yeah,
was
all of the
all-wheel drive.
Rams, they got a
The
four-wheel
one price
drive.
on the next page.
Yeah, the Durango is
It's the
4-door
percent
all-wheel
off.
drive.
Is it-
That's
let's
what?
The Durango is all-wheel drive.
see. Where it
Right.
says year, make,
But I
model,
know
body,
the
pursuit,
Ford was all-wheel
four-door,
drive.
all-wheel
Woody
drive.
Folsom quote, pattern right there in the
No,
center.
So
all-wheel
the
drive.
4-door ALL means all-wheel
All-wheel
drive.
drive.
All-wheel drive.
The Ford does, says AWD, but all that says is 4-door all.
Yeah, the Durango comes for all-wheel drive, like all
But that's
your
the quote
cars.
they gave us, that's what I was calling right.
But they're saying also right here, or around 1500. If we're going to discuss around 1500, it needs to be a 4-wheel drive.
Yes, sir. If we bring a 1500, it will be a 4x4 drive, but we're asking for a Durango.
Okay, well, it wasn't stated on us. I didn't want to just get a plain Jane 1500.
Uh,
There's a cost of between
Yes.
1500 and 1500 4x4 big. So,
But I think they're going more with the pursuit vehicles. They prefer the Dodge Durangos.
Did we check with any other Dodge dealers or just the one?
Woody Folsom is the only one we checked with because he's on state procurement, and we've been getting them for $44,000 on the last 4 we bought, I believe, 3 or 4. And a Ford Interceptor is 48.
Okay. Board like to make a decision on this?
but you didn't get a price from any other Dodge dealer.
No, sir, because Woody Folsom he was been the cheapest by far every time we reached out to everybody. And with him come back at 44,000, right now in this market, I was shocked to see that. I was expecting close to 50.
So there's 2 vehicles.
He has one in stock right now, black, that I asked him to hold until after tonight's meeting to make sure that we can get it. They did have 3, but he sold 2 yesterday. I had intentions to come to ask for 3, but they've sold 2 of them. But I'm requesting 2, that way when they get another black one in, we can order it and get it here and it'll be part of the 6 that the sheriff's asked for.
We'll give a truck to recreation.
We can rotate the 4x4 prior to Cassandra and then move her 2-wheel to recreation.
I thought, Public Works needs some trucks.
Or we can rotate the public works, whoever needs it,
Well,
whoever needs it the
they
more.
do, but Cassandra wanted 4-wheel drive, she's got a 2-wheel drive, so we're gonna give her a 4-wheel drive and turn the 2-wheel drive to rec department, and I guess when we get some more, we'll give them to the public works.
And we can get them painted for, I think, around $3,000 white. So they distinguish between administration and sheriff.
And you don't have to change the color.
Well, I make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 2025 Dodge Durangos from Woody Folsom at $44,000 each, with the outfitting estimated at not to exceed $10,000 per vehicle, for a total cost of the 2 would be $108.
And the funding be
Come
splosh.
out of Splosh.
Second.
All in favor? Report
you,
from
Commissioners.
County Administrator.
Commissioner, just to let you know, we have the CM service is due on this Friday or this Thursday at 5:00. Chris Brazel has reached out to me. He asked if any commissioner would like to sit on that committee to appoint a CM or select a CM along with staff. So if any one commissioner would like, or 2 commissioners would like to be on that committee, let me know.
5
It will be probably the first week of September after Labor Day. This is just for them to get everything in who would like to be considered for the CM services.
You can, yes, I should be able to, if needed, and, okay, just remind me.
I'll send a text and let you know who it is.
I mean, I'm just saying, I can probably make that work if it's needed.
Okay, and then the LMIG bids and the old election building bids are due on September 5th. I believe we do have 1 old election building bid in.
We do.
Hoping another one will come in. I did show the building to someone, so hopefully they will put a bid in as well. We're finalizing the FY 25-26 budget and hopefully start scheduling meetings, hopefully by Friday. If not, it'll be September 2nd. We'll be reaching out to get with the commissioners to set up meetings to go over the budget. Recreation had a good turnout last week on a football kickoff on last Thursday on the 21st. Commissioner Snelson, Commissioner Collins, and Commissioner Worsley was there. I think they had a very good turnout with a whole bunch of kids. Kids enjoyed it. They had fun. I was in attendance. It was nice to see a good turnout for the kids to come out and have fun. I think the kids really appreciated it. And then last thing I'm working on 2 RFPs, one for an insurance broker and one we're going to put back out the commercial reval, but we're going to do it for 2 months. We got no bids on the last twice that we'll put it out. So we want to try one more time for 2 months to give people time to bid. We had one that reached out but could not make the deadline at the last minute. But I do want to get an RFP together for an insurance broker so we can hopefully reduce our insurance costs. And that's all I got.
I just have one thing, just to remind everyone, again, on September 8th, we will be available online, but this is the first time this has happened to me since I've been going to training, that we have a board meeting that night. So we will be Haley and I both will be in training, but we will be available.
So you're gonna be taking the notes remotely, or somebody here need to be doing it?
I'm gonna try to take the notes as best as I can remotely. Is that okay, or should someone still back me up?
Should be fine.
Okay.
We'll have someone here that can take notes as
I
well.
mean, the
Because we
meeting's
do have
recorded.
2 meetings that day. We have one at 5:30 and then we have one at 6, so
Both meetings are recorded, so you can transcribe from there later, right?
I could.
I'll double check.
Yeah, I think you need to check on that part, but yeah, we will be available online.
We'll have someone from administration staff here to take notes as well. Tammy sat on the airport board for a minute. I'm sure she can take the first and seconds.
All right, so report from county commissioners. Commissioner Collins?
I just like to thank staff and all employees for the job they're doing, and, I did talk with the guy today about the fish survey at the lake. He's gonna be in touch. We're gonna try to get it done in the next month, and, looking forward to see what's going on at the lake with the fishing. That's all I have.
Commissioner Snelson?
I was gonna mention we have the Cotton Fair coming up in October, and this year they've asked for the county to have like a tourism booth. And so the Chamber of Commerce and stuff is starting to work on that. There's gonna be an art show from the students that are at the Roosevelt Institute. The Flint River Keepers should be there and stuff from the Little White House. If anybody has any ideas going forward or wants to come out there and represent the county, they are gonna have a booth for it. And I've heard a lot of great comments and people happy about the roads. And I was in Tractor Supply and got a comment the other day how the roads are better than they've seen in the county in a while. So I just want to thank everybody for working hard on that. We're having happy comments. And thank the citizens that come and speak up. I appreciate it.
Commissioner King?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up on the road thing. I even took time yesterday to just go out and ride some of the roads that I knew the Public Works was working on, and I even took time to call Brian. I guess it was probably 6:30, 7 o'clock last night. He probably thought I was wanting something taken care of or done, but I just said, I just need to call and let you know I'm going down, I think it was Bond Road, and then I was going out Fern Road. I said, but I built some houses over there a year or so ago, and just completely different. I mean, the road looks wider, the ditches are cleaned out. I mean, it was just nice to drive down it, and homeowners are calling and saying, man, we are impressed with the way these roads are getting. And so that was one of my drives and goals when I ran, was to focus on roads. I think Mr. Emmett was doing the same thing. And years ago, they brought that landfill in here and promised us they were going to get all the roads fixed up and taken care of. And we watched for 15, 18 years and none of the money got spent. But since this board's come on in the last 2.5, 3 years, we have all focused together, and the citizens see it. They really do, and they're complimenting and they're thanking and they're appreciative, and that's what we should be serving and getting done with our citizens. So that, and thanks to everybody for what they do day in and day out.
Chairman Worsley?
Just the same thing, I thank everybody for the work they're doing, and the citizens that are getting involved and bringing us ideas and commenting and giving us the feedback to let the staff know what good work they're doing. So thank everyone involved.
Can I add one thing? Sorry. The Keep Meriwether Beautiful is coming up the last week in September. And so I know they're going to have a meeting about it tomorrow, but that September, I think it's the 28th. If anyone wants to sign up and do a team, but the Keep Meriwether Beautiful is coming up. Sorry.
All right. Report from county attorney.
I have nothing to report. Do I need for a second?
We do.
We do?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll read future meetings and notices first. We'll be closed in observance of Labor Day, Monday, September 1st, 2025. Monday, September 8th, 2025, the regular meeting at 6 p.m. Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, the regular meeting at 6 p.m. Monday, October the 6th, 2025, is the regular meeting at 6 p.m. I need a motion to go into executive session to cover litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? You're in at 7:48. In regular session, all moved. All in favor? Back in regular session at 8:35.
Yeah. Commissioners, I'd like to get approval on 2 employees in Public Works to take leave without pay. That they have exhausted all their prior leave, so it'd be a leave of absence without pay for 2 employees in Public
Make a
Works.
motion.
Second.
All in favor? Pass. Any other business come from the board?
No, sir.
Any motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Adjourn at 8:36.